Hi, this is Deborah Weaver, and today we're going to work on some stitch brushes from our Stitch Matrix guides. You can go ahead onto your American and Aphrid stitch type matrix guide and open it in Illustrator and grab the stitches that you need. You can go ahead and take them onto the page that you'll be working on. And you can see here, as usual, I've dropped them to the back. I've made sure that they're straight so that when I go to sketch over them that I'm not going to be sketching crooked lines to begin with, and I'll use my grid view in the background as well to help me. I've blocked the layer behind, and I've also taken out the opacity to 40% so that I can see the matrix behind it. We'll start with the single needle chain stitch. We're going to go ahead and do all of our stitches with a 0.75. I do recommend that everybody do their single needle stitches directly onto their stitch files, their sketch files rather, because we'll not be sure whether they look good, this dashed line or not, on every single sketch. So on this one here, I'm just going to go ahead and add these rounded corners so that it looks like these stitches going in. And again, I recommend that stitch be done on individual sketches and don't use run brush for everything. The back view, which we do need, I'm going to go ahead and start this with, again, a 0.75 line. I can see here that there is a squared off sort of loop on this side and that it comes back around and loops over underneath these angled vertical lines here. So I'm going to start with my straightened out sort of loopy noose looking stitch over here, come back around just slightly above where I need it to be, give myself that rounded corner and end over here. I'm going to zoom in and perfect my choice of anchors and lines here by just smoothing everything out so that it doesn't appear to have unusual shaped curves, because that wouldn't look so great, which you can see when I laid them down it wasn't quite perfect. So we can make these fine little adjustments here and see that end result. This looks pretty close to me. Okay, so the next aspect that we have is this little vertical, sort of slanted vertical line here, which to me definitely looks wider than that understitch, so I'm going to bump it up to a 1. I'm going to go ahead and move that to where it's going to cover the ends of that piece right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring down a guide so that I can make sure that when I go to duplicate it, I'm going to put it in the same spot over on the other side. And not need to go up just slightly so that the anchor is above. We can see that pink smart guide telling us we have it in the right spot. I'm going to leave it a little bit before that edge there just so that it makes that stitch part look more obvious. I'm going to go ahead and group it now, and then I will move it over to the next position here and hopefully see that pink smart guide so that I know that I have it exactly straight. I'm going to hit Command D to get it in a couple more positions because I want to square out right in the middle of these. So I'm going to go ahead and take these all up now. Get rid of that smart guide and expand the appearance, both the fill and the stroke. And then I'm going to place a box over from middle to middle. If I go from that arc aspect to that same position right here, I want to get rid of any fill. And I just want to make sure that it's exactly on the leading edges of where that arc comes into the straight line before I drop it into the brush. So once I have that in the exact position, which you can only see if you really zoom in, so I can zoom in to see that, look, I need it to be just, actually that one looks pretty good there. Come over to this side and just needs to be moved in just slightly. Hard to do because of the snapping tolerances. So I'm going to zoom in even closer to get it right where I need it, which is right there. Okay, so I can go ahead and zoom out now, drop that box to the back, send to the back. And then go ahead and place my brush into the brush tools. Make a pattern brush out of it. Make sure that I'm picking my top corners. I'm going to go with auto-centered on both top and bottom corners. And then all I have to do to check the brush is just make a nice curved line to see how it goes around the corners. I can see here it's going around the corners fine, and I can also reduce the size down to a 7.5 or more if I need, depending on the sketch that I'm going to use it on. Okay, so that is it for the back view of your single needle chain stitch. Thank you.